Hi, everyone, and welcome to Umatta Consultant Podcast. I'm Rejoice, and if today's your first time on our show, please make sure you subscribe to our social media channels, especially Spotify. Today, we have the special privilege of speaking with Chris. Chris is a chairman and also CEO, and he's a serial entrepreneur. So I would love for him to introduce himself and all the businesses that he has his hands in before we ask him questions. So with further ado, Chris, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. Well, yes, my name is Chris Carter, and I am a serial entrepreneur. Currently, I have four companies that I'm running and managing outside of the 17 books that I've written and the four bestsellers that are up across my forehead or my head there. I've got so much time to be able to run and founded Approyo, which is an SAP cloud computing company. Magnate AI, which is an AI-based company that supports organizations with security and other activities wrapped around artificial intelligence. Then I own a company called Charging Bunny, which is a EV-based charging company where we never take from the grid. We're only putting back to the grid based upon solar connections and battery backup storage. And then I'm lucky enough and blessed to have my own pub. So I have a large, we call it the whiskey wall, with over 100 bottles of bourbon and whiskey up here in northern Wisconsin.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction and telling us all the businesses and books you've written. We're excited to learn more as we get further into the conversation. Chris, I would like to start off with knowing a little bit about yourself. You've been named one of the top SAP experts in the world and the go-to for voice and cloud solutions. How did you first realize this was your path, and how did you keep motivating yourself to stay in the industry, fast-paced industry?
Well, it's been an interesting career. I started back in 1987 when I graduated high school and left for college at Georgia Tech with an Apple IIe and a Commodore VIC-20. And I knew I wanted to get into computers and I wanted to play with the computers and I wanted to do those activities with it. Well, fast forward 2 years to 1989. All of a sudden, I'm working at Coca-Cola and I'm working on an SAP environment. And they were going through the process of migrating from a mainframe computer to an x86, which we all use today, the basics of laptops and MacBooks and so on and so forth. And they said that they wanted me to work with them. So I went from an intern to a college student to an employee of SAP pretty quickly. And I started the process. It hasn't been all roses, though. I'll admit, life is, you never know what's going to happen with life. Goes up and down. And I decided to start my own companies. And there was actually a period of time where I stepped away from the SAP ecosystem for 2 years. And I worked for a unicorn company out of California and helped them. And then I got dragged back into it with a bottle of scotch and a fire pit. And I started Approyo from that point, and then Magnate AI a couple of years ago now, and just started the process. And I still have a passion for it.
Yes, I can hear it from your voice that this is your passion and you enjoy every single thing you do. First, I'm also curious to learn from you. You've been recognized by Entrepreneur, CRN, and Minor Review for your leadership. What do you think sets your approach apart in the SAP, cloud, and also AI space?
I think what really does that is that people that I try to help. I have a firm belief that no matter if I'm going up or down the ladder of success, I'm always trying to pull somebody up, no matter if it's up and over me or if it's just up to the next rung with me. I want to make sure that individuals, if they work for us and they decide that they want to go off somewhere else to a better career or a different company, that I'm giving them the help that they need to be successful. And then I do the same thing with our customers. I always want them to grow. I don't want them to ever fall behind and to be behind the eight ball, as they say in the old days. I want them to be successful as well. So I'm always trying to get my staff and our customers to go forward. It's why I have this little mantra on my back wall by Rocky Balboa. Always go forward. You're going to fall, and every once in a while you're going to fall, but you got to get back up. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep moving forward. And so I keep that on my wall, and I make sure that when I do one-on-ones with staff members, or if I'm talking to the corporate, or I'm even with my customers and prospects, they see that. Now, some of them see Salvador Dali up on above, or the Brett Michaels autographed guitar behind me, and we have different conversations. But that Rocky Balboa means a lot because it's always about trying to do your best. You may not do your best this time, and you may fall flat on your face. Get back up, learn from it, and keep moving forward. It's no matter what, you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit hard in life, but keep moving forward.
Exactly. Powerful. I love the illustration of Rocky. The movie is just so inspirational. Get
Yes,
back up.
always has been. I've loved all of his movies, so I love that quote. That was great when he started saying that to his son.
Yeah.
I thought maybe someday I would say that to one of my daughters. I'm a 2-time girl dad, but I've never had to yet. So we'll see what happens.
Gotcha. Excellent. So, Chris, many leaders struggle with migrating to SAP, with the biggest misconception businesses have about the process. What do you think is the biggest misconception they have with it?
I think the biggest misconception that I get when I'm out speaking or talking to folks who don't know what SAP is per se is they don't realize that it is such it's a software application that companies that have $2 million in revenue all the way up to $20 billion in revenue can use. It's scalable and accessible. And I like those two words, accessibility, because no matter if you've got 5 people working at your company or if you've got 200,000 people working at your company, it's accessible to you based upon what it is, and it's scalable for you. So to be able to have those activities, people don't realize that 87.9% of all financial transactions in the world run through an SAP system. So think about that. And you just made a reference about asking people to like you on Spotify. There's a financial transaction with Spotify and these online apps. A lot of these online organizations, including Apple, use SAP, and Microsoft and all these companies, they're using SAP now. It doesn't matter if it's one person doing podcasts and other Etsy products and stuff, or if it's, again, 200,000 people. It's scalable to give them that capability so they can leverage it to have a benefit for their company.
Exactly. May I please ask you a follow-up question on this?
Please.
For someone who may not understand what SAP may be, what is the basic place you can start to explain that to them?
Sure, that's easy. So SAP is Statistical Analytical Processing. It is an ERP software, so Enterprise Resource Planning Software application. Companies such as Miller Brewing Company, Budweiser, Apple, Microsoft, IBM, Macintosh, you name it. These companies, but also smaller companies, Spotify's and Etsy's, and Contangos and White Stars, companies that have got maybe a couple $100,000 worth of revenue, all the way up to the billions. It literally puts everything in one nice, neat, clean package. So if you're running financials instead of using QuickBooks, if you're running an HR platform, so instead of Gusto, so instead of all these little disparate systems, you're now running just one application, and it's one nice, neat, clean database to help you transition your organization to make better decisions.
Excellent. It even goes smoothly to our next question, which is, you often emphasize faster, stronger, more stable companies. What is the secret to achieving that with SAP and S4 upgrades?
Sure. That's a great question, because when you look at an S4 upgrade, and we're all moving to the newest one from what was ECC to S4. S4 is now all in the cloud. And because it's all in the cloud, it's faster, it's more resilient, it's easier to secure, it's easier to use. You're just using a web page now rather than these GUIs that we used to have. And because it's in the cloud, you can either go up or down with your size capabilities, your speed, and the other activities that are wrapped around it. And it gives you that flexibility. So all in all, and I don't mean to sound like an advertisement for SAP, but at the end of the day, I want something that's all inclusive, built in the cloud, ready to go. Now, there's competitors that are in the cloud as well. I just prefer an SAP application rather than others. But at the end of the day, if it's in the cloud and it's strategic for your organization, the speed, the accuracy, the security, the capabilities are going to be there for individual organizations.
Gotcha. Can you expand a little bit on the security features for smaller businesses who are unsure about, data bridges and so forth? How can you assure them about the security features?
Well, I can't give them anything like that. All I can say is that based upon the security protocols that are in Microsoft Azure, AWS, GCP, what SAP is building in theirs, what we even do as ours, we have a tool called Overwatch, and we monitor the entire security landscape for these organizations, no matter if it's SAP or others, as part of our predictive analytics AI tool. But at the end of the day, as long as you're focused on security from either a CISO or from a CIO perspective, and you're willing to make security a number one predictor and profile in your organization, you're going to get a better chance of not getting hacked than you are if you just let it be. And a perfect example I'll make reference of, because I was talking to a customer actually yesterday. They had gotten hacked, and it's because they had an older system on their network that nobody was updating. Nobody was keeping the hot patch. Nobody was doing the security protocol. They didn't care about it. And that's what happens. It's on a network and it gets hacked. And then all of a sudden they have a doorway right into your company.
And it happens often than people realize.
More often than everybody realizes. You've got that correct.
Yes. Yes. Chris, can you share a success story where migrating SAP not only saved the company money or financials, but also unlocked new growth opportunities?
Well, upgrading is never cheap and easy. So I'm going to tell them that right now. It is expensive. If there is benefits to it, though, there's absolute benefits to upgrading to the newest, latest, and greatest as SAP. And one of the things that happens with that is you no longer have to worry about the technology from an infrastructure standpoint. So your cost profile from a cloud. So here's how we try to help organizations save money. We do an evaluation of their entire current landscape and then what it's going to look like up here in the cloud. We look at everything that they have, everything they're going to have to transition, what that migration is going to be, what the license costs are going to be, how they're going to put everything into that environment, how they're going to leverage and utilize it. Now, what we do, instead of them having to go out and just all of a sudden willy-nilly buy infrastructure and not have a true possible assessment of that, we can bring down the size of that infrastructure because it's on a cloud, something that they may not have even considered doing. They may have just said, hey, I'm going to do the double XL size, just go from there and we're going to go away. Well, if you're in a medium size and you don't need to do that. Plus, we've got compressions of databases and all this technical jargon. So if we do that with a customer and we make sure that they're taken care of upfront, they're going to reduce their overall cost. They're going to get a better ROI. They're going to recoup the cost of those faster because now they're not wasting those funds on something that is just sitting around doing absolutely nothing for them. And then at the end of the day, as long as you're doing organizational change management and you're monitoring your environment properly, you're going to get all these benefits from that. And it's going to create an ROI capability that's really going to help them get the cost back faster rather than many years down the line.
Very true. Very true. Do you recommend a specific size of organization to be doing this, or from small, medium, and large?
I recommend anybody that's got multiple systems going on in their environment, take a look at an SAP environment. You know what? You were going to have my LinkedIn and my information. I am always available for people to have a conversation with. Just reach out and I'll let you know about everything from the smaller sizes all the way up to the bigger sizes. And if you don't have SAP yet, that's fine too. We can do a complete greenfield. We can take data from QuickBooks and others. There's templates that we use, and it gives the ability for everybody to be able to use that.
Excellent. I like that idea a lot.
Me too.
Chris, you've talked about scaling SAP landscapes while reducing complexity, which I think is super awesome. What's one practical step leaders can take today to simplify their tech stack?
Oh, well, one of the things I think that everybody needs to do who's running, no matter if it's SAP or some other application, is they need to do an evaluation of how much they're using of that tech stack. Are
Mm,
they using all of it? Are they running at 40%? Are they running at 80%? The better you can clean up and get that system to where it's about 50% to 60%, you're going to optimize your environment. You can
mm,
possibly even reduce costs. If you bring that down from a threshold where maybe they're at a 45, 50%, and you bring it to where it's 65 and 75% utilization, that's a fantastic thing because now you're going to a smaller size, which typically has a lower price point to it. You still get the same benefits because now you're leveraging true speed and true accuracy of what the true environment should be. And you're leveraging that for cost savings, for ROI, for your tech stack is now compressed, and you're moving forward in a much more defined and comprised manner.
excellent.
Yeah,
That
I've been doing this for a few years. I've got some big buzzwords flying around off my head that
that's a game changer, actually, in my
yes,
opinion. Yes.
yes, if you can leverage your tech stack and you can get rid of the old and bring in the new, and there are tools out there that can't even run on cloud right now. Why
Right.
would you want to use them? If you've got a tax software, if you've got a warehouse management software, if they can't leverage the benefits of the cloud, that is a tool that may or may not be worth your salt. Because when you're building it for the cloud, you're optimizing an application to be able to bring the speed and the power into that app much more conducive than having it spread over VMs.
Which also slows productivity.
Slows it down. Oh, yes. Because then it's got to go bit and find bytes and bits over across multiple VMs. Now you put it into a cloud and you have one instance of one tenant in one region. And the only reason that there would be any slowdown is if you're doing multi regions and multi tenants. And
Right.
you don't need to. You can leverage that and just have the hot backup.
Very
I
true.
know we just got really techie on some people, but hey, sorry, it's the way my brain goes sometimes. You should be my family.
Not at all, not at all. I'm sure we have some tech folks listening that are enjoying all of these terminologies.
Thank
So
goodness.
thank you so much for that. Let's change gears to AI and technology
Oh, yes.
evolving over the next decade. AI is reshaping how companies run. I think a lot of organizations are thinking, rethinking, figuring out how to integrate. Where do you see the biggest opportunity for integrating AI and SAP?
Oh, I see it right off the bat. It is the application called Joule that is built into SAP. Companies, there are literally over 400 plus predefined templates inside of SAP's marketplace that organizations can leverage to automate processes within their SAP ecosystem. And it can be leveraged by, again, the smallest of companies and the largest of companies. And being able to use that automated process to be able to do financials or HR or vacation times and warehouse management. It is incredible right now what they are building, what we're building as templated, predefined modules inside of the AI structure, saving people time,
Right.
the cost of the systems, being able to run those AI automations in an evening format where it may be a little bit cheaper because there's not so many people blogging down the system and getting it, harnessing it for a more conducive cost structure
Hmm.
and usage structure. So there's a lot of things you can do around that now. And it is so wonderful. And that's why we built that tool, Overwatch, our predictive analytics tool. We
Right.
keep it at a very consistent pace across the entire landscape, 24/7. So that we try never to have a big dip up or down. And we always want to make sure that it's very consistent and not hogging system resources.
Exactly, which is extremely important. I was just also about to enter the conversation regarding your AI company that you have also ventured in.
Mugatu
Please,
AI. Yes.
exactly. How does this venture tie into your vision of transforming businesses through technology?
Yes. So I started Mugatu AI because we had built an application based around leveraging technology and artificial intelligence for the SAP ecosystem and for the enterprise. Well, it grew much bigger than that. So I took that application out and I put that as part of Mugatu AI. And for anybody who knows who Mugatu is, he is the bad guy in the Zoolander movies. So we took that tool, and now every single one of our customers is managed, monitored, and run with Overwatch on top of everything. And it is our golden ticket and what differentiates us from other organizations, because not only does it do the SAP side of the house, it does the infrastructure side, it does the cloud side, it does security side, it takes care of different tools and applications. It also takes care of different infrastructure. And no matter where they're at in the world, it's monitoring that entire landscape for an organization. And that is a true benefit to all organizations because you do not want to get hacked. We've had
Right.
customers that have been hacked that led into their SAP environment. And we're like, guys, this came from you in this direction in your data center. This is what we saw. This is what we're doing. This is how we're helping. Nobody wants to get hacked. And so our goal is to make sure that none of our clients get hacked on our watch. Overwatch.
Exactly. Exactly. So, Chris, let's lead into some leaders see AI as a buzzword. Some people say, oh, it's here to go, it's not going to stay, while other people see it more as a revolutionary change that we're experiencing. What's your take on this practical question, whether AI is a buzzword or it's actual revolutionary, immediate use of AI in the business world?
I think it's both, to be very honest. The buzzword, people try and say, hey, I'm going to do some AI in my company. They don't know the tool to use. They don't know the area to use it on. If they do get a tool, they're using it in the wrong part of their company. You cannot use the same tools for your sales and marketing that you're going to be using for your coders, your developers, other people. That's why I tell people, let's pick one use case. Let's not boil the ocean. So first of all, you got to pick the right tool, but you got to pick the right use case. And then you got to pick the right data. Data is the new currency in the world today. It's why Tesla is a $500 stock. It's because they own all the data. It's not a car company. Their cars are shit. My language. And I own one, and I own it. But it's a data company. They
Yeah.
own the data, and that data gives you so much information. So you have to have clean, crisp, concise data. The three C's: clean, crisp, concise data. You do not want to use anyone else's data other than your own. So if you're going to do sales and marketing, you're going to do promotions, stuff, great. Go out and use everybody else's data. Go out and use Chat Hub and Chat GPTs and Snowflake and everything else out there. Use those tools for that activity. But when it comes to your data, all your data needs to be cleaned, concise, and crisp and inside of a little black box, and it needs to be just your data. You don't ever want your competitor's data or someone else's data out in the world getting your data dirty. That's just not it.
I agree with you. Very true. Very true. We have to be conscious of data.
I agree.
Hmm. So, Chris, you've worked with companies across 55 countries. What's the most surprising lesson you have learned from helping such wide variety of businesses across?
Well, one is that I don't sleep very well on international flights on airplanes because I don't. I tend to work because this thing is always on. Uh, Two, by helping companies across the world, what I've noticed is that they all have the same problems. And you have the same C-level individuals with the same comments. Oh, we don't need to do that. Oh, if we do that, that's going to cost us more. If we do this, they all have the same comments. They're all beholden to the same either stockholders or private ventures or whoever that. At the end of the day, if they don't do the right things for their company, they're going to have the right failures for their company, and it's going to be on their shoulders, no one else's shoulders. So at the end of the day, no matter where you are in the world, whatever type of company you're working with, whatever type of SAP landscape, or even other applications, do the right things for the company. Make sure it's always updated. Make sure you're keeping up with the applications. Make sure you're keeping up with your training for your people. Make sure you are not beholden to one individual who all of a sudden says, I'm going to get hit by a bus today. Sorry. And
Oh,
there's a company that I know of that a gentleman got ran over by a tractor,
boy.
and he knew everything about the application. And this was probably about 7 or 8 years ago. Nobody else knew anything about the application. They always ran to Tony. And unfortunately, Tony had that accident on the farm, and then they were stuck. They had no idea what to do. So then it hit them hard. So they had to go through 2 painful scenarios. But at the end of the day, if you make sure that your systems are updated, you're being secure, you're being cognizant of your staff, and you're being cognizant of where you're going in the future, you're going to have good success. And it is going to cost you. Let's be honest. It is going to cost you no matter what you do. Would you rather pay in dribs and drabs? Or would you rather have to pay with a massive check 3 or 5 years down the line because you didn't keep up with everything?
The consequences of not training and updating
Oh, yes.
are huge.
Consequences can hurt.
Yes, big time. Extremely big time. Chris, as a best-selling author and thought leader in your industry, what advice would you give to leaders who feel overwhelmed by digital transformation?
Oh, best-selling author. I'm just nobody. Well, who feel overwhelmed? We all feel overwhelmed. There's times in my day where I'm being bombarded by somebody from everywhere, or I'm being bombarded by my wife and children who are now out of college, working in the real world. We all feel those stressors. If you feel yourself going through those activities and you feel yourself stressed out, find something that's good for you. I've got everything from these head mind game things to I go for a walk. I like to drink bourbon, which I'm probably going to do one tonight because I could use one. There's a lot of different things you could do, but do it in moderation. Do it with friends. Do it with family. Just try to take a little bit of time and decompress. If you can get that time to decompress and just sit back and just relax and look around, think about how good you have it.
Right.
I'm 6'3", 290 pounds. I'm above ground. After the after the tragedies and activities that went on 2 weeks ago and everything I got to see this week. Plus I saw football games where people were tearing their Achilles tendons. And then we had there was a car accident up the road where some young girl's still in a hospital here. But, think about the things in life that are blessing you. Life is a blessing, being alive. Sure, we all want to go see our maker someday, but at the end of the day, we all hope that we're going to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And just, like you've got a beautiful smile. Smile. If you smile, it's amazing how things change in just your body and your chemistry. And so I'm going to keep smiling just like you.
Excellent. I'm going to hold you to it. You are right. Life is so precious, and sometimes leaders need to take a deep breath and enjoy the little things in life. Looking ahead, Chris, what's the next big shift in AI or SAP enterprise cloud solutions that leaders should sort of prepare for that you see?
Oh, that's a great question because everything is changing continuously. And this AI thing is just literally, we haven't even started our baseball game yet. We're barely in the clubhouse getting changed into our baseball uniform, and it's continuing to change and evolve. I tell people all the time, the things that are going to happen in 6 months are going to be different than what's going to happen in a year. But at the end of the day, there's going to be continuous evolution. And that's why I made that comment a few moments ago. Continuously update and upgrade who your people are, what they're doing. Same thing with your applications. Continuously learn. Knowledge is power. Knowledge will always be power for anybody that's willing to grow and expand their mind. And so at the end of the day, I tell people to do that. Read my books, read other people's books, go to classes, take some time, take a half an hour during your day and learn something new. Learn about complexity, learn about Canva, learn about any of the AI tools that you want to have some fun with. And the more you learn and the more knowledge you gain, the better off you're going to be.
Excellent. Thank you so much for those words of wisdom, Chris. It's been a pleasure speaking with you
You,
and learning more about your work and what excites you. Where should our listeners or folks watching us today, where should they look or reach you if they want to further follow the work you're doing or maybe get in touch with you to help them with their processes or
yes.
SMP?
First thing to do is go to my LinkedIn. Christopher M. Carter on LinkedIn. If you look up Magnate AI or Approyo or Charge Your Money, they're all on there and they all lead to me some way, shape, or form. Fill in a little note and says that you watched the podcast and you were interested in talking. And I'll follow you back and I'll talk to you. I will actually respond to you. I do to everybody that reaches out to me. Two, you can go to one of our websites and you can reach me out there. Let them know, send an info at to any of them, and I'll get those emails as well. And my team goes through and make sure that I who they were, and they talk. I've had people just literally willy nilly. I saw this podcast you did last year. I'd love to talk to you in regards to it. And one was Business Ninjas from 2 years ago. I was like, oh my God, I haven't talked. And then I went out and I talked to them Business Ninjas again. They're like, yes, we need to talk to you again. So anywhere on there is more than fine. I'm on all the socials, Instagrams, and X, and all those. So, but LinkedIn's the first place I always tell people to find me. I'm always there.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And for everyone listening, thank you for your time and watching. Please make sure to follow us and also follow Chris as well. It's been a pleasure. Chris, thank you again.
Oh, thank you for your time. This has been great. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Bye-bye.